This hour with an SABC News exclusive. As you may recall, President Jacob Zuma's son, Edward Zuma, says the views expressed by his father's wife, First Lady Thobeka Madiba-Zuma, on social media are not the views of the Zuma family. We now take you live to Durban to our reporter, Mlungisi Kumalo, who is on standby with the president's son, Edward. Over to you, Mlungisi.
Well, a very warm good afternoon to our viewers at home. Yes, like you said, Aubrey, we are here. We've got an exclusive interview with the son of President Jacob Zuma, Mr. Edward Zuma. You will recall yesterday that he released a statement yesterday on behalf of his family saying that the remarks by Madiba-Zuma were extremely unfortunate, and that as a family they do apologize for those remarks. But then he will also now today shed more clarity as to why the family issued a very, very urgent statement as to apologize to the whole nation for those remarks. Mr. Edward Zuma, thank you very much for your time. Yesterday you issued a statement to the country saying that you apologize for the remarks made by Thobeka Madiba-Zuma. Just elaborate more, please.
Good day to the viewers. I think we made it very clear on the statement that we released that these remarks that were made or so-called made in social media were so much very unfortunate. However, as a family, we then, we agreed that we needed to clarify, because then otherwise people would then have believed what the First Lady had said was to be a true story. I think, as we all know, it's her own personal views, it's how she feels, and as a family we feel that we have not arrived at that particular stage. Therefore we still believe in the democratically elected leadership of the African National Congress under the leadership of Comrade Cyril Ramaphosa, whom we all support and whom we will all support to lead this country beyond. However, any other thing that might come thereafter, I think we should take it from a premise that it's individual cases, and yet we need to deal with them in that context.
Mr. Edward Zuma, the whole country waits in unabated breath as everybody is talking about the ongoing transnational talks. Now, I'll just go back a few years back in the Polokwane conference. We do recall that President Thabo Mbeki was ousted as the ANC president, and immediately the NEC at that time called for his immediate resignation. But this does not seem to be the case with President Jacob Zuma. People seem to think that there's a stalling process going on. What's your take on that?
Well, again, I think I've made it clear a couple of times and several times. Government issues and ANC issues are not family issues. Therefore, the family does not have anything to say regarding that. We as family members, we would request that we adhere and respect whatever decision is taken by the leaders that are in power at the moment. However, what we are saying is we need not use the name of President Zuma, in fighting our own personal battles. President Zuma is a member of the ANC. He subscribes to what the ANC is saying. So what the ANC says will go. So we would not allow any situation, and at no stage or at no point in time will we allow any individual, either family of the Zumas or the ANC, to use the name of President Zuma to their own personal benefits for their own selfish personal interests.
Clarity there, Mr. Edward Zuma. And lastly, now we also know that we are informed that the presidents of the ANC's entourage were making their way to Nkandla to try and deliberate more with the president. Is that the case? Is the president in the province, and are those talks ongoing in your knowledge?
once again, I'm going to reiterate this. I'm speaking as Edward Zuma. We have no knowledge of any discussion that is going on as a family. We also rely on what the newspapers say. You know, when the newspapers say President Zuma is meeting President Ramaphosa, that's their knowledge. As a family, we can never have anything to say about that because we are very disciplined cadres of the African National Congress, and yet, and again, we want to maintain that particular demeanor.
Mr. Edward Zuma, you are a loyal member of the ANC as well as the SACP. I'm sure I'm correct. But you as the ANC member, we do understand that very soon the NEC will be meeting in order to deliberate the president's future. What's your take on the outcome? What do you think that's going to be the outcome?
Well, look, like I said before, I think the ANC, when we went to the 54th National Conference, we were very confident, and we are still confident, that the leadership that we elected is capable enough to take such a decision. They are capable enough to take this country forward. They are capable enough to give clarity to this country. With regard to the South African Communist Party, I may have less to say, because I really think there are people that have really killed the Communist Party. It's not standing what it has to stand for, or it was meant to stand for. However, that is a matter that we will deal with when we cross that particular bridge.
Thank you very much, Mr. Edward Zuma. Like I said earlier on, Edward Zuma made a statement yesterday apologizing on behalf of the family. But today, as we interviewed him in this exclusive interview, he lambasted the Communist Party, saying that he has very less to say about it. And he also mentioned that as a loyal ANC member, he trusts the leadership that was elected in the December elective conference, that elected President Ramaphosa to lead the ANC going forward. Now, in terms of the transitional talk, he has not given us more clarity as to what's really transpired. He says, yes, the Zuma family distances itself from those talks and also waits with the whole entire country with unabated bets to see what's the outcome of those talks. Thank you very much, Mr. Edward Zuma, and thank you to our viewers at home.
Mlungisi, if you can still hear me, and if you are still with Mr. Zuma there, is it possible if you can just ask him when the last time he spoke to his father and where his father is at the moment?
Mr. Edward, I've just got one question from our Joburg studios. This very last question is, when was the last time you had a conversation with your father, and do you perhaps know his whereabouts, the president of the country?
Well, as the president of the country, I always look for him like any other citizen of this country, you know. As I speak to you, I would not be able to say as to where his whereabouts are. However, what I know is, wherever he is okay, and he is tops.
Thank you very much. Mr. Edward Zuma agreeing with the whole entire country, saying that he does not know the whereabouts of his father, although we find it very strange. And over back to you in studio.
All right, many thanks. That there was our reporter, Mlungisi Khumalo, talking to us live from Durban in KwaZulu-Natal, and just having a chat there with President Jacob Zuma's son, Edward, and of course responding to the controversial social media post by First Lady Thobeka Madiba-Zuma. And as you may have heard them, Zuma saying the views of the post by the First Lady was her personal opinion and not that of the Zuma family, and also reiterating that government and ANC are not Zuma family issues, and saying the Zuma family will adhere to any decision taken by the ANC with regards to his father's future, and also saying that no individual either within the family or the ANC as the governing party itself should use rather the Zuma family name for their own benefit. You will recall that Madiba-Zuma posted a picture of her and President Jacob Zuma on her Instagram account. That was on Friday, with a status update in isiZulu which translates to do not fight with someone who is not fighting back, and that things are about to get ugly. And the other social post, she also defends President Jacob Zuma's track record, saying that he did not join the ANC in 1991, jumped ship, nor hopped between the struggle and wealth accumulation, and also saying that President Jacob Zuma will finish what he started and does not take orders from beyond the Atlantic Ocean. And now we know already that the president's son, Edward Zuma, now saying that the views expressed by the First Lady are hers and not that of the Zuma family.